Greetings. I want to be discussing and talking today about how I went from grassroots poverty to riches, even though I was born in a well-to-do, or you can call it rich family. Wow, you can say, wow, what are you talking about? You're born in a rich family or well-to-do family, and yet you're struggling in grassroots poverty? Yeah. And that grassroots poverty that I suffered from or I dangled in was what I would call, quote unquote, man-made. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at that time, my daddy was well-to-do. He was one of those, or one of the 3 persons in the whole city that ever rode a car or first purchased a car. At that time, the reigning car at that time was what we called Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile. You can Google it and you can find out. And he later, when 403 was, talk of the town, he switched over to 403, then 404. Okay, I just gave this for you all to see where I'm coming from. So he was well-to-do, and in one street he had at least two plots in one street. So you can agree with me that he was well-to-do, and yet, I went from poverty to poverty. How? I'm glad you asked. When my mom went to be with the Lord, when he passed away, ladies and gentlemen, that was when my suffering started. It started from one angle to another. And as luck will have it, I never gave up. As the stress came and intensified, I picked up courage and faced the stress and faced the challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving us all this synopsis and stuff like that in order to encourage someone who is going through stuff like that and think it's all over. No, it's never over till God says it's over. The passing away of my mom brought poverty into my life, as my daddy literally didn't play the part he was supposed to play as he was playing when my mom was there. And I went through difficulties, big time. But I refused to give up. I continued with my selling. I call it selling because I was just selling. Till destiny saw me in secondary school. I started secondary school and with nothing. And I mean nothing. My corner was literally with nothing. My bed didn't have a mattress or a pillow. I didn't have no provisions with which to sustain, my vitality. Moreover, the worst of it is that I didn't have a lantern, which is like a torchlight that I can use to be reading during the night hours. And those of us that are not from the third world, what we call the third world, or what most people call the third world, a lantern is, a sort of flashlight that is propelled by kerosene. You can Google it, and that will show you what that is. So I never had all those. Neither do I have pocket money. But I encouraged myself. I saw it that if I cave in to this stress that is coming, to this challenge that is coming, that I would never ever be somebody in life. And I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to rise above what I was in. And I wanted to show, let me use the word, show that poverty that nature or whatever is pushing me into, that I can make it through effort. So I put in more effort, and finally I graduated from high school with nothing. But let us know that during that high school period, hunger was my middle name. Hunger almost took me off, but I never gave up. Most of the times, I would go into the village. I would trek about 5 to 6 miles into the village to my own to where I came from, and I will uproot cassava. When I uproot the cassava, this is like on Friday evening or Saturday morning, I uproot cassava from our farm, which we cultivated, long ago. I will uproot it, and I will manually grind it with a crate. Sometimes my fingers will be, shredded while I was trying to shred it. Then I will squeeze out the water. Then one of my cousins will help me to fry it. Then I will carry it as my subsistence in school. And I was doing that till I graduated in school, to the glory of God in heaven. When I graduated, I moved to a bigger city than the city that was bigger than where I graduated from. And I started looking for a job. Then I stayed with my daddy and his wife. And getting a job was difficult. But as I never wanted to give up, I started doing all menial job. Some of our tenants who at that time used to sell reams of papers, I will assist them in carrying the rim of papers on my head and take them to the machine that will cut and do the printing. Sometimes I will push it in a truck. And folks that saw me then will think I'm one of the local, guys that work. They wouldn't know that I was the son of the landlord, because my dad owned the house that, those guys that I were helping lived in. So I was doing all this in order to raise money to move on in life. But guess what? After I did all those, these guys gave me nothing. Then I swallowed. I swallowed the pain. I said that one day that the doors will open, that I'm not just doing it for them, that I'm doing it because I wanted to do it. Finally, I was able to get a job in one of the local electrical companies that sells electrical parts. I started working there as their bookkeeper. They were paying me the equivalent of $30, which was nothing with all my college, secondary school degree. Then with the money they paid me, it wasn't even enough for me to get my breakfast, talk much of lunch. But I kept managing and pushing forward because I knew where I was heading to. And one thing that helped me make it is that I left every side track, every detractors. I don't want to go deep into detractors. I left all of them. I never tried to dress big or, do certain things that other guys were doing. I just kept low profile. And I was saving. Then I saved enough money to take what is called bookkeeping exam from one of the colleges in London. I did it home studies. If I say the name now, most of you will know the institution. It's a popular institution in London. They do home studies. And I did bookkeeping with them. When I finished the bookkeeping with them, I decided to move over to Lagos. When I moved over to Lagos, the problem intensified. But this is what happened before I moved to Lagos. One of my relatives, I don't want to mention them because I didn't take permission from them, gave me a letter with which to take to an institution or organization that a big company, let me put it that way, to a big company. But that letter was not a blessed letter. It was a more or less, here is George. If you can help him, help him. If you can't help him, don't worry about it. After all, he didn't make grade 1 or excellency grade 1. But the same person was able to do certain things for their own, which didn't have that much grade. Even mine was better than theirs, but let me leave it that way. I'm just saying this to you all to see what I went through and the importance of murder to somebody. Your own murder, you can't replace it with somebody else's. No, it doesn't work that way. Yours is yours. Because if mine was there, I wouldn't go through all this. So when I went to Lagos with with one of my uncles that I followed to Lagos, accommodation became a problem. But I never gave up still. The person that was supposed to welcome me as his own was pushing me out instead. But I stayed put. On some occasions, he will throw my things off the upstairs to the road. I will still go and get my things back into the house. Sometimes we will do some shovelings, but I insisted that I will stay. Finally, I got me a job after a couple of months. almost a year, I got me a job. And my perseverance, I believe, and my focus helped me to get a job in one of the governmental setups. So I started working, and because of my dedication, and I'm not trying to praise myself, but I'm just saying things the way they are so that we will learn from it and know that when you don't give up, when you persevere, when you put effort, the promotion will come one day somehow. And I was putting in much effort, so much so that there are some days, especially holidays, I and the supervisor will be the only person in the office, in the whole floor. Sometimes one other person will be there too. So sometimes, especially during holidays, it will be the general manager, one other person, and myself will be manning the whole flat, the whole floor. Guess what? You guessed right. When the promotion came, I got it. So it paid off. And from there, one promotion after the other, one promotion after the other. Till finally, I found myself overseas. And it didn't end there. The problems the problems intensified here in the overseas that I found myself in. Especially when people at home in the village, some of them, not all of them, noticed or found out that I have traveled to overseas. I don't want to mention specific names, just one particular person. And it intensified, and I myself, I intensified in my work and my struggle. Today, today, I believe I have made it. And I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm still aspiring till I get to the millionaire level and above. And I know one day it's going to happen because I'm not giving up. So ladies and gentlemen, viewers, don't give up. If I could make it from nowhere with all the stress from every angle, with all the challenges from every angle, with nothing, I mean nothing, zero, nada, zero. If I can make it, ladies and gentlemen, know that you can make it also. Don't say, oh, that you don't have daddy. What about me? I neither have mommy or daddy per se. My daddy was just a figurehead. He was just there for their sake. Wasn't contributing anything. And yet he had it. But he was derailed. Let me not go deep into that. Maybe when I make another video, I will touch on that. So, do not say that, oh, you don't have daddy. Because I've seen lots of young guys, especially when I was in the teaching field, which I believe I'm still in there now. But that time I meet too many kids who will say, oh, that they're doing it because they don't have daddy, that they, that I don't know what they're going through, and that. Come on, man. That you don't have a daddy doesn't mean that you should drop out. It doesn't mean that you should become a nobody. You are you. Your daddy is he. Your mommy is she. You are you. Stand for yourself. You can make it, man. Don't give up. You can make it. If I can make it from nowhere with nothing, you can make it. When I came to America, for example, I didn't know nobody. But look at me. Today, I own everything I need to own. Talk of cars, talk of houses, just name it. God have blessed me with them. If I have given up back then and be saying, oh, that my daddy did this, my mommy did this, be pointing, accusing fingers at this, that my auntie, my uncle, my sisters, my brothers, my cousins, my nephews, my this, my that, keep nagging and blaming every other person but myself. Ladies and gentlemen, I would have still been back there, probably in the village, tapping wine. But I refused to blame anybody. I refused to cave in. I refused to be a cry baby. I refused. And when I refused, I put in effort. When I put in effort, I focused. When I focused, I let certain things go. Certain quote-unquote friends go. It doesn't matter whether you're a male or female, go. If that was this was my motto then. If you're not there to assist, if you are not there to give a positive input, you're not part of me. I just let the person go. I let the person go so that I can focus. So if we want to make it, that's what we got to do. And that's what I did. I focused because I knew that was the only way I could make it. Today, I am where I am today. From grassroots poverty to riches. Because through the grace of the Almighty God that made me to stay focused, that made me to pass through all the stumbling blocks and bridges and obstacles and you name it. Finally, I made it to the glory of God. If I can make it, you too can make it. To God be the glory. Amen. Watch out for phase 2 of this. And thank you for watching. Feel free to share this video. And feel free to subscribe so that whenever I post new ones, you'll be the first to be notified and to watch it. Feel free to also follow us. Remain blessed. Till next time, peace.